Hi guys, welcome to Code Maple. In today's video, we'll learn about some important Linux commands and Linux basics. As a developer, knowing how to work with Linux is a very important and a must-have skill. So let's get into it. So let's have a look at the first command, which is ls. So the ls command is used to list all the files and directories in your current location, and then if you would like to see the current working directory wherever you are, just type in pwd and it will show you your location. So I am at currently home/ubuntu. So this is my directory location right now. Suppose I would want to enter directory 1, then I can use the cd command, which is the next command on our list. So we type in cd dir1, and now as you can see it is showing up as /dir1. so we are in dir1, right? So if we do pwd now, as you can see the location is /home/ubuntu/dir1. I can go back a level by doing cd ... which will take you back one step in the directory hierarchy. So I will be back to /home/ubuntu now. So to move to a directory, you do cd space the directory name, it will take you to that directory, and if you would like to move a step back, you just do cd ... Similarly, I could have gone to sample folder. As you can see, my location is sample folder now. I can do ls and see the contents inside, and I can again go back. So if you don't type anything after cd, it will directly take you to your home directory. So home is the directory where a user logs in by default. I'll explain more about the directory structure of Linux after I give you a basics of the important commands. So I am going to cover the Linux file system hierarchy. So I'll come to that later, but for now just understand that the home directory is where the user logs into by default and also stores their personal files and folders. So anything that the user wants to store for their own usages can be stored there. Now let's move to the next command, that is mkdir, which is used for creating a new folder. So now you are able to see we have 3 folders. Let me create a new one using this. So let's name it dir3 for now, and as you can see a new folder has been created. I can move into this and do various things, right? So now the next command is vim. So vim is a very powerful text editor in Linux. If I just type vim, as you can see it is vi improved. So it's a free open source text editor. So you can use this command to work with any text file. So for example, if I want to open a text file which is currently present, for example readme.txt or python sample, you can just do vim readme.txt, and as you can see it has opened up this file, right? There is see hello, this is a sample readme file, whatever. And now I can do a couple of things with this. So for example, if I want to change anything here, so to go into editing mode, currently this is in like non-editing mode, or you can say viewing mode. I can only just view things now. If I want to enter the editing mode, I have to press I. The moment I press I, you see here it is showing up insert. So now I am in editing mode. So I can just press enter. So you see new line has been created. I can add a couple of things like this. And now once I am done with making my changes and I want to save and exit, I can just press escape. So now I am back to the viewing mode, and I can do :wq. This will save my changes, right? So if I go back to vim readme.txt again, you can see my changes are saved. Suppose I have made some changes by mistake. This is some random text that I added by mistake and I do not want to save this, right? And I just want to exit without saving. Then the command would have been :q exclamation mark. So this would discard and exit, right? So my changes will be discarded, and now if you open the file again, you see that those changes were not saved. Okay, and if you haven't made any changes, simple q would be fine. So that was some brief basics about vim, right? So one more thing, if you just wanted to create a new txt file or any file for that matter, so you can just do vim sample text.txt So this will create a new file for me. As you can see here, new is being shown. Simply I can do the insert thing. This is a new file. Save this. And now if I go back, these changes are persistent. And if I do an ls, you can see that sample text.txt is now coming up. So I have also been able to create a new file, right? And like basically enter things in it. Okay, so let's move to the next command, which is cp, which is copying files or directories. So using this command, I can copy files or directories, right, to some other location, to my desired location. So let me just try to copy this sample text. So you remember we created this dir3 new, right? So this is an empty directory because we created it newly. Let me try to copy this inside of dir3, right? So first let us check what is inside dir3. So let us go inside dir3. We do an ls, it's empty. To check inside dir3, we could also have done ls space dir3, right? So this will show you the contents inside of the directory. So don't actually need to go into the directory. Okay, so let me try moving it there. So we do cp sample text.txt. So one more hack I would like to, it's not a hack, it's a basically developer productivity feature, you can say. So Linux auto completes our commands. So if I just write sa, right, and I do tab, I press tab, you see it auto completed up to sample underscore, because there were two possibilities here, sample underscore folder and sample underscore text, right? So until the point that there were no clashes, right, there could be no clashes, it auto completes until that point. And the moment I type in t, right, then if I press tab, it auto completes to text.txt, because there are no conflicts from then on, right? So if we write sample underscore t, then there is only single possibility that sample text underscore txt is what I would intend to, right? Now coming to the cp command. So the format of the cp command is first you mention the source file, followed by the destination location, which is where you want to copy the file to. So I want to copy it to dir3. So now if you do ls dir3, you can see sample underscore text.txt is present, right? So let me now teach you how to move directories from if I wanted to copy entire dir3 to dir1, right? So how would I do that? So the command changes a bit here. So if I do dir3 and I'm trying to move it to dir1, it will say it's an error because we cannot move directories directly. To move a directory, we need to add -r command, which refers to the recursive option. So we add the -r option here, dir3 to dir1, and now you see it has gone through. And if I do ls dir1, you see dir3 inside of it, right? So we were able to move a directory 3 onto directory 1 by specifying the -r command, right? So, and one more little productivity tip that you need to know is pressing the up arrow. If you press the up arrow, it will automatically fill in with the previous command that you filled, and if I press the up arrow again, as you can see, it is again filling up with the command before that, right? So I don't have to type in again and again. So we are done with the cp command. Next command is man, right? So this is used for opening the manual of any command. So every command has a very descriptive manual in Linux, and you can see all the options and how to use the command and everything in the manual. So if I just want to see the manual of ls command, let us say, I would type man ls. So you see the entire user manual is opened. ls list directory contents. There are multiple options here, -a, -b, -c. So coming to the next command, which is mv. So this mv command is used for renaming or moving files and directories around. So just like in Windows, you do cut and paste, right? So we can use the mv command for moving files instead of copying things. Also it is used for renaming. So first let us see how we can move the files around. Okay, so suppose we have the sample folder here and I want to move the sample folder from this location to dir3. So currently dir3, sorry, the dir3 has just one sample underscore text.txt that we had copied earlier. I want to move the sample folder inside of this. Okay, so how can I do that? We can use mv command, similar to the cp command where we talk about the source and destination. Similarly we do this here. So sample folder 2, I want to move it to dir3. You see, if I do ls now, sample folder is not visible, but if I do ls dir3, I can see the sample folder is now moved here. Okay. Okay, so now let's see how to use mv command to rename things, right? So let me try to rename this sample underscore text.txt. I can just do sample underscore text.txt followed by the new names, right? So sample underscore old dot underscore. Let us say I am trying to give it this name. Now you see ls, this file has been renamed, right? I was able to successfully rename this file to this file. Now let's move to the next command, which is rm. So we use the rm command to delete any file or directory. Suppose I want to delete this new file that I had renamed just now. I can just do rm sample, and now this file has been deleted. It's no longer present. But to delete folders, just like the copy command, we had to add an -r command. Here, to be able to delete folders, we will have to add an -r command. So without the -r, as you can see, it's not deleting anything. It cannot remove dir2 is a directory. Okay, so if I add -r dir2, see, it was able to successfully delete. Now we are only having dir1 and dir2. So that is how you delete files and directories in Linux. Next very important command is the clear command. So suppose you have a lot of commands here, so you want to just clear up the window. Just type clear, see, everything went away and you are back to a clear screen where you can work. The next command is touch. You remember how we use the vim command to create a new file? So if we type vim sample text file.txt, this would create a file for us, but it would basically open the vim terminal, right? Suppose the moment I press enter, you see I have to input things inside of it, so I have to fill it up with something, else I will not be able to create a new file, and nothing has been created unless I add something to it. Suppose I just wanted to create an empty file. I didn't want to like add something to it. I just wanted to create an empty file. Command would be touch sample, and then it would just create an empty file for me. Now if I do a vim, you'll see that there is nothing inside this file. So very quick way to create an empty file would be just touch and the name of the file would be created. If you just wanted to print the contents of a file, you could do cat readme.txt, and you remember we added some lines here, 4 and 5, so all of that is now visible. So this just printed. So instead of having to do vim, opening the text editor, viewing it, this is a very easy way to just have a look at what the contents are. Just pressing cat and the file name, it would just print all the contents, right? The next command is head. Suppose you have a very big file which is very long. You just want to have a look at the starting couple of lines at it. So you do a head readme.txt. It would print the first 10 lines. Since this file is less than 10 lines, so it is just printing the entire thing. But suppose we had like 15-20 lines, it would only have printed the first 10 lines of the file. So there is an option that you can use along with this head command, which will specify the exact number of lines that you want to print. Suppose I only want to print 3 lines, top 3 lines, I would do -3 readme.txt. As you can see, it's only printing the first 3 lines. I can do -5 and it would be printing the first 5 lines. Okay, So by default it prints only 10 lines. Similarly, we have the tail command which prints the last couple of lines of a file. So you do tail readme.txt, it will print the last 10 lines by default. You do tail -3 readme.txt, the last 3 lines. Okay, so head and tail are basically similar, just it prints the first few lines and tail prints the last few lines. Cool. Now let us have a look at the next command, which is find. So the find command is used to search for files and directories based on various types of criteria. So the most basic criteria that you would need is the name, right? So you would want to find files according to name. So in any Windows machine or Apple machine, you have the search feature, right? So similarly, we can search things here. So if I want to search any file that starts with sample, so I'll do find dot hyphen name sample star. So I'll just explain what the command breaks down into. So as you saw, like Linux has listed all the files and folders which are starting with samples. So what does this command mean? So we said find dot means current directory, double dot refers to the previous directory. Okay, so find dot means we are trying to find in the current directory. This is hyphen name, which means I talked about criteria, right? This is the criteria being name of the file or directory is the criteria we want to search upon, and our search term is sample star. So star means regex matching, so after sample anything can be present, right? So we are saying list all the files that start with sample. That is what this command means. So I just explained to you that dot refers to the current directory and dot dot refers to the previous directory. Let's see that in action too. So let me just change my directory to dir3, and if I do ls dot dot, see, it is just it is showing me all the contents of the home, which was one directory lower, and if I do ls dot, it refers to the current directory, which is dir3. ls nothing also refers to the same thing. Just for clarity, that dot refers to the current directory. So the final command in our list is the grep command. This is a very important command which is used for searching and filtering files that have a certain pattern in them. Okay, so if I want to search for a certain pattern and list all the files that have that pattern, right? So for example, I want to find all the places where the term line has been mentioned. Okay, so I would just do grep hyphen ilr. So I will explain about these options to you in a moment, and the pattern which is line, and then dot. So you see, it has listed that these files have the term line inside of them. So now let me come to this ILR, right? I means case insensitive. So even LINE would be matched, LINE would be matched. So basically this is a case sensitive search, insensitive search. If you mention my hyphen I here, so it would ignore the case. Hyphen L would be listing by directories. So I suppose I want to see inside of bash history or inside of these readme.txt where is the term line mentioned, right? So I would just skip the L option here, and you can see it is now showing inside of readme.txt we had this line, right? This is line 1, this is line 2, and it has highlighted in a different color as well that this line term is present here in readme.txt, it is present here. Okay, and since it was a case insensitive search, you saw that LINE, all these other cases are also being included. Suppose I remove the I from our search, you see only exact matching terms, the lines which exactly match my search term are being shown here. Okay. So, and R means recursively searching for files. So, inside of my current location, which is dot, I am asking it to search all the files and directories. So, inside of dir1, if there are any files, it will search that. Inside of dir3, if there are any files and folders, and if there is another folder, inside of that folder also it will try and search. So, it will go until the bottom, it will search everything inside of my current location. If I don't mention R, it would only be searching in the current location. Okay. So, one more option I would like to teach you along with this is N. So, this also shows the line number. So, this will also mention which line this line is present, right. So, we saw that this is line 1, this is present in the second line of the document. So, if you also want to see also want Linux to mention the line numbers, you just add the option N. So, that was all the basic commands that I wanted to take you through in Linux. So, since we are done with all the commands, let me just dial back and also tell you about some of the important options that we have. So, for ls we have an option called as -a. So, this is meant for showing all the files, so even hidden files. So, earlier you see, once we were only doing ls, we were only able to see some files, but when we did ls-a, we are also able to see the hidden file. So, any file or directory that starts with dot is a hidden file or directory in Linux. So, .bash history, bash rc, .ssh, these are all basic configuration files, and these configuration files are not something that should be unintentionally altered, right. They could cause some issues and they could cause some problems. So, for that reason some of the files are hidden by default in Linux, and those always have the prefix of dot. So, they start with dot in the name, file name or folder name, directory name. So, if you do -a, it will list all the files and folders including the hidden ones. There is another command -l, which displays the result in a long form format, which will provide additional information about the permissions, ownership details, size, what is the size of the file, the last modified timestamp. Okay, so this is the last modified timestamp of any directory or file. So, the next command is ls-lt, let us say, that would sort the files by the reverse order of modification time, right. So, the most recently edited item would be placed first. So, we created this very recently. So, as you can see, this is present on the top, and the one which was edited earlier would be present at the bottom. Now, we have another command which is ls-lh. So, adding the h option displays the sizes in human readable format. So, this is just a number and it was not very clear, right, what it meant and what the size is. So, here it is showing 4 kbs, right. So, it means that like it has converted it to human readable format. The final option that goes along with ls would be -r. This would print the entire directory structure, all the files and directories recursively, right. So, you remember -r is generally used for the recursive items, for the recursive usages. So, ls-r is showing that the current directory has these things, dir1 has this. So, dir1 has dir3 inside of it, and dir1/dir3 has this inside of it. So, it is printing everything which is present, right. With that, we have covered all the basic Linux commands. Now, let us have a look at the Linux file system hierarchy, which defines the structure and organization of important files and directories in a Linux based operating system. This hierarchy structure is very important to ensure that everyone working with the various distributions of Linux is on the same page. We'll start by learning about the root directory, which is denoted by /. this is where the hierarchy starts. This is the top level directory under which all files and folders that are present in the system are located. So you can go to any location in the file in the system from this. So this is at the top, right? This is the root directory, which is denoted by slash. And then there are, as you can see, multiple folders here. If you are a Windows user, must be aware of the C drive, right? So just like the C drive has many OS related files and folders and a lot of configuration files which are crucial for the operating system to function properly. Similarly, Linux has all of that present over here, as you can see, opt, root, sbin, lib, bin, all of this stuff. So I'll be explaining you some of the important ones here. So the first one, as I have mentioned here, is etc, right? So this stores the configuration files. I can just do cd etc, and what we see here are a bunch of configuration files. As you can see this host.conf, e2 scrub.conf. So these are all configuration files, and if you just try opening any one of this, right, you can see there are a lot of things mentioned here. So that was it about etc. So if you install any kind of library, if you have installed some software and you would want to change the configuration, so most likely their configurations folder would also be present in this /etc. Coming to the next one, home. So like I told you earlier, so home directory is the directory that the user logs into, and a user can store their personal files and stuff in the home directory. So if you do an ls, you can see there's a home here. You do cd home, and there is Ubuntu. Because there is a single user in the system currently, there is only one folder. If there were more users, there would have been more folders with the names of the users present. Okay, so I'll just go into Ubuntu, and you see now it is showing /tilde, right? Because the home folder is represented by tilde, and I do pwd, this is /home. So the moment a user logs into the system, he is directly sent to the home. So I can do cd/ to go back to the root, and if I want to go back to the home, I'll do cd tilde. This will take me to the home directory, or I could have done simple cd as well, that would have brought me here. Let's see var. So this is the var folder, and this has variable data, so basically logs, temporary files, temporary stuff, right? So this is all some kind of temporary data that is going to be present. As you can see here, log folder is there, so this will have all the logs. This crash folder will have the crash reports. See, you can find a couple of logs present here. If you open any of them, you'll find all of these log files. Fine, I hope that was clear. And finally, the last important one is bin directory. So if you go to the bin directory, this folder contains important binaries, essential binaries that are important for booting up the system, system repair, all of that stuff. So these, if you try opening any one of these binaries, you will not be able to read them, because this is not in human readable format. This is in machine readable, only the computer can understand. This is basically binary file, right? Executable. So this will have executables for a lot of important crucial stuff. In fact, if you see here, chown, cat, so these will have ls command. I taught you the ls command, right, which will list all the files and directories. All the commands that we use in Ubuntu will have their executables present over here, right? You see chmod command, clear command, mkdir, ls, everything will be present over here. So with that, we are done with this tutorial. I've also written a very descriptive article on this topic covering everything I've taught in this video. You can find the link in the description box below, so please go through it if you want to refer to anything. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial and learned something new. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section and I'll clear them all for you. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for the next part on Linux Basics, where I'll be diving a little more deeper into Linux, covering some more important commands and teaching how to work with package management software and install any application on Linux. Thanks for watching.